Hello everybody and welcome back to The Hobby Musician. Now on today's episode I wanted to do something a little bit interesting, and I wanted to kind of continue with a lot of our videos on how we can use gear that we already have in a flexible way. Now, the backstory to this is I was recently watching some videos over at SamuraiGuitarist. Now, if you haven't checked out his channel, he's got some great stuff. So I'm going to put a link to his channel down in the description. But every once in a while, he'll put out a video where he demonstrates the strangest guitar pedals that he can find, or the weirdest things that are out there on the market. Now, I'll be honest, I like watching these videos because pretty much it's just some mindless entertainment. Usually when somebody says that there's a strange effect, well, strange means bad. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to turn on these pedals and they're just going to garble up your guitar sounds in weird ways, and it just sounds terrible, but it's still kind of fun to watch. Now, in a recent video he posted, I was kind of getting into that mindset. I was kind of chuckling as he was going through them, but he hit a pedal that really all of a sudden my ears perked up and I thought, wait a minute, that sounds kind of cool, and I might be interested in using that type of an effect. Well, we've said before on this channel that as a hobby musician, I just don't have the finances to go out and buy every pedal that sounds cool, but I wondered if there was a way that I could use current gear, the modeler that I have, to potentially mimic this kind of a thing. So, the guitar effect that we're going to try to mimic today is the Coppersound Telegraph Stutter. Now, what this does, the design of this pedal is really kind of interesting. It's just an on-off switch where it just turns off your guitar signal or turns on your guitar signal. That's it. But it does it in an interesting way. It uses what we would consider momentary switching, which means it's only doing it when you're holding the switch down. Now, 99% of the time as a guitarist, if you want a sound on, you would use what we call latching, which means it just latches on. So if you want a distortion on, you click the pedal and it's on. And if you want to turn it off, you click the pedal again and it's off. But this particular unit will just only do the effect when you're holding it down. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So we're going to switch over now, and I'm going to show you guys how I was able to kind of mimic that with gear that I already have. So stay tuned. All right, everybody, we are over here at the modeler, and one of the things I wanted to show you is how I got this set up. Now, we talked about the whole concept of this effect, and it really is just a volume on, volume off kind of a pedal, but it's done so in a momentary way. Now, I just wanted to demonstrate the difference between those two types of kind of clicking modes. So what I've got set up, and you can see at least the colors here. When the colors for these pedals are on, what you'll notice is the effect is basically engaged. So I have set up 2 volume pedals, and really the only thing I did was I turned the volume all the way off. So when the light is on, the volume is off, and when the light's off, the volume is back on. So it'll make sense in a second. But I did want to demonstrate, so on the left here, what I've done is I've left this in a normal, what we would just be more familiar with. It's latching mode. So you can see the light's on, and as soon as I click it, the light goes off. Well, that is operating in latching style when it's clicking on and off. And what that just means is I would now have to click it again to turn it back on. So you'd have to click it off, click it on, and you can see the light goes off, the light goes on. That's the typical style that we're all familiar with. Now the volume pedal on the right, I've set it up with the identical settings. So the volume, it will cut the volume whenever it's engaged. But I've also set it to be momentary. So when you watch the light, basically now if I press down, the light goes off, but as soon as I let go, the light comes back on. So pressing down, I can hold it for as long as I want, or as short as I want, and I let go, and the light comes back on, basically on and off like that. And again, just to demonstrate, when I click down and I click back on, that's the difference between latching style and momentary. And for this particular effect, it's kind of a cool. So once again, we're going to kind of switch things around, and I'll give you guys a really quick demo before we wrap this up. have it. That's our mimic of the Coppersound Telegraph Stutter. Now, is that an effect I'm going to use in every song I play? Absolutely not. And is it going to sound different if I use my finger to try to turn it on or if I use my foot? Absolutely. But the point of the episode was just to see if we could find ways of using the gear that we already have in flexible and imaginative new ways. So I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, until next time, play on, my friends, play on.